Are we ready?
Yeah, he did the thing.
I'm Fred Minnick. I'm the editor-in-chief of Bourbon Plus magazine, and I deposit 100% of my checks at an ATM.
I'm Ryan Cecil with Bourbon Pursuit, and I mobile deposit all of my checks.
Welcome back to another episode of the Curation Desk. I'm joined with my awesome friend Ryan Cecil and co-host of Great Bourbon Pursuit podcast.
Yes.
Man, it's so great to see you, brother.
Glad to be here, man.
Thanks for coming on. And as you know, when you came here, you had to wear an ascot.
And I still don't know how to tie it, so I'm just going with...
Flip it over. So now go...
So Fred, when you first did ascots, are you regretting that now?
No.
Like when it's hot, are you like, shit, this thing?
Yeah, when it gets hot, it's definitely difficult.
Well, we're not here to talk about ascots.
Well, we could. I could talk about ascots all day.
Then I'm out of here.
So today we're going to talk about sourced whiskey. What is sourced whiskey?
Yep.
Sourced whiskey is when a bottler buys whiskey from either a wholesaler or another distillery and bottles it for themselves. They're also referred to as non-distiller producers. Now, Ryan, you happen to have, with Kenny, you guys created your own sourced whiskey label.
Yes.
Tell us about it and what's the process?
Yes, we started our own Pursuit Series brand where, for our podcast listeners, we go and source barrels from brokers, and we go and choose the best barrels available to us, and then we bottle and say, hey, this is where it was distilled, this is where it's from, this is where the age is, and disclose as much information as possible because we are whiskey geeks. So most of your great brands out there were actually started by sourced whiskey. I mean, Old Forester, yeah. Heaven Hill, and so we're hoping...
Pappy Van Winkle. Way back when.
Not saying that we will be one of those, but we have a unique opportunity.
Wouldn't that be the dream, though?
I know, to be... Pursuit 23, for $350.
Well, why don't we tell us what you got here?
So,
which one do you want to taste?
We'll go in numerical order. So each bottle is an episode based on the podcast. So being a single barrel, there's that one barrel, it's done. So each barrel is its own episode, and we do show notes to describe what's in the bottle, what kind of flavors you might be getting. And so this is episode 7, it's our 7th release. What we're trying to do is to get people that we've had on the podcast to do an episode in honor of them being on there, but a lot of the big boys don't want to source their whiskey to us, even though we would tell what it is.
So now, I'm not a part of this.
No, but we are totally independent.
We are together on the podcast, and you guys do a lot of this in Memphis.
Yep.
So what's the facility in Memphis that you're using?
Well, so in Memphis, without getting into too much detail, it's where our broker's housed. He's got a bottling facility there. So he basically has a warehouse with 5,000, give or take, barrels at a time because he's in the bulk trading market. And so we go down there. He basically says, here you go, have at whatever you want. I got this in today, I got that today. And so we go through and taste about 30 to 60 barrels in a 3-day span. So we're going through a lot of whiskey.
I'm pretty sure it's George Dickel.
Yes, and it's from Tennessee. It's Tennessee bourbon, even though I'm a Kentucky boy.
It's very minerally. It's very underneath like a layer of minerals and it's not metallic. It's just, I can't. It's hard to describe. And I know it's not Flintstone vitamin, but there's like a minerally vitamin.
Flintstone push-up.
There's a note there, and then after that layer of notes, you have some honey.
Yeah. So this is a 14-year, and it's 110 proof. And what I got out of it was, I said, "Is it fall?" Because I swear I just tasted pumpkin spice latte. So I got a lot of pumpkin spice kind of Thanksgiving kind of flavors for me. Well,
the nose is distinct, right? Mm-hmm. What did you dismiss over the others to pick this one?
Of the depth of the flavors, it's got real richness to it, viscosity. A lot of barrels you taste that are good taste like your traditional bourbon profiles. This just has a lot of unique flavors to it.
It reminds me of Barrel of Batch 13. Oyster shell. Like
oyster shell, okay.
There's the mineral, like an oyster shell, and then kind of like everything falls in underneath that.
Like after the brine, you've taken the salt and
exactly.
The salt water's kind of got to the
so
shell.
This is like, it's a very particular note in champagne, and oyster shell is something that is used a lot to describe like farmer's fizz or grower champagne, and this has that note.
Interesting.
And it's
I've never tasted oyster shells before in bourbon.
Well,
now I do.
When you scoop one out, and it's like right there.
Yeah.
You'll taste it. I mean, I understand the spice you're picking up and everything. I feel like that's the second or third wave for me.
Yeah.
But that's tasting is an individual experience. It's how does it taste to you, and how can you describe it? It's not what I say is fact.
I know every time I have an oyster shell, I'm gonna think of Fred.
If you like whiskeys that have different stages, different flavor stages, like you want to see, like this whiskey, it starts here, goes here, comes here, and then goes back here. It is a very unique whiskey on the palate. I very much recommend it. Buy a bottle, see what it tastes like.
Buy two, save shipping costs.
Disclosure, I am a business partner with him on another venture.
Yeah, but he has nothing to do with it. He doesn't pick these out.